Well, the hardest thing about this morning's blog was finding the right way to sit in the chair so that we didn't have to move the camera any further. But now that's fixed, we'll get on with the story. And it's about stress testing small businesses. I gave a talk last week with the Chamber of Commerce, and it was interesting the sort of reaction of people to the idea of stress testing. It seems to me a little bit like the 5-year-old at Christmas time, where he unwraps the present and then decides to just see how strong it is, and then by 10 o'clock in the morning the present's broken. And it wasn't quite what I had in mind in terms of stress testing a small business, nor are we sort of advocating expensive software that you can download from the web, because if you type in stress testing, you're sure to find lots of different packages that you can buy at various costs. But the key thing to think about in any business, but let's just think of small ones, is what are the things that would break this business? Right? So if the proprietor left, courtesy of a bus, heart attack, or something else, or one or other of staff members were to leave, how would that impact? Now, it's really important to know the answer to this, because if it's a serious issue, as you start to run through these, then you've got to devote some thinking to risk management. Do we bear all the risk ourselves, or do we transfer the risk to someone else? The most obvious way in which we might transfer risk is with key person insurance. We pay a premium and we insure that key person for accident, death, or some other untoward event. Now, if we think about other aspects in the business, such as the premises, what happens if there is a fire? Is there adequate insurance? Is there loss of profit insurance if it takes some period of time to reinstate the business? These sort of things seemed reasonably obvious, but as we work through them with clients, we find they weren't that obvious at all. So, what stress testing is, for me, is thinking about those elements of the business which are of real importance, and then asking, if we stretch them, what would happen? So, it could be not having adequate finance, a fall in sales. Then, do we maintain good relationships with our bank? Have we got a business banker with whom we keep those channels of communication open? Put the bank in the position where they are actually offering some advice. Then they will walk with you rather than you go to them asking for something. These sorts of little things are reasonably obvious, but when we look at the deteriorating position of some of the smaller businesses in our provincial and more rural centres, we can see that the thinking had not been put in place beforehand.